This is crazy as we have multiple reports to discuss. Cooper Kupp working out Puka Nacua, Jared Verse sending NFL legends into retirement, as well as some training camp updates, all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Press the subscribe button now, as roughly 68.8% of you guys are watching the videos, but you're still not subscribed to the channel. Just do me the favor, press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. First things first, I do want to get into a little bit of a smaller story. We are talking about Jared Verse forcing a player into retirement. Couple days old, but we heard from Terron Armstead discussing a little bit of just on a podcast, talking about his recent retirement and discussing, some names of players he may not have ever wanted to see again in his life, causing him to retire. Now, not that he's saying these guys are credited for the reason why he's retiring, but he is essentially saying, hey, you know what? There's a couple names out there that I'm happy to never have to see again on the football field. All-pro left tackle says Rams star defender made him retire. Like I said, a little bit of I don't want to misquote what Terron Armstead said. It's a little bit more funny, lighthearted. He was asked this question on a podcast, essentially saying there's got to be some players you are happy to never have to see again now that you are retired. Who are some of those names that come to mind? The first name that came to mind out of Terron Armstead's mind was that young boy, Jared Verse. I'm cool. I'm good. I never got to see that man again. Now, Terron Armstead, if you guys don't remember, has had a very long NFL career, playing many, many years, I believe, with the New Orleans Saints. I'm not sure if that's the first team he started with, but I know he played many years there in New Orleans. Obviously, then moving on to Miami to finish his incredible NFL career, legendary, potentially Hall of Fame NFL career, or at least definitely one of the players of the last couple of decades that I think was a star in my mind, right? Always one of the top of the list in terms of left tackles in the NFL. And so high praise for Jared Verse coming from a player, like I said, who some may say a legend of this era, Terron Armstead. And honestly, it's just kind of goes to show. Obviously, we know and we understand as Rams fans kind of how good Jared Verse is, how good he can be. But this is kind of a little bit of a highlight of like, hey, we now see a great NFL player coming out and saying Jared Verse is one of the first names that comes to mind when it comes to not wanting to face some certain players ever again in his career, right? And so it's a nice little thing to highlight, something to note, nothing too crazy. I don't want to go too wild with this and saying, oh, Jared Verse sending players into retirement, but it is kind of funny to kind of have that kind of perspective here, hearing from Terron Armstead saying, you know what, I'm good not having to see a guy like Jared Verse ever again in my life, obviously, because he's no longer going to have an NFL playing career. Rams have a superstar on their roster. We are obviously very excited about that. Him personally, Jared Verse does know he has to get the sack numbers up, I think, to essentially get into that elite stratosphere when we're talking about Defensive Player of the Year worthy award kind of level of play. We need him to be at the 15 plus sacks per year mark. And that's something I think he wants to work on this upcoming season. Very excited to see what he does this upcoming season. This entire defensive line, very excited. I know one name that kind of goes under the radar, right? Byron Young, but the Braden Fitz, the Jared Verse, the Kobe Turner, the Poona Ford, a very, very solid defensive line that we are seeing from the Rams that is kind of built almost perfectly, ready to attack next year and see what they can do to opposing quarterbacks. We'll have to wait and see on that. Moving on from that, training camp information. So this is pretty cool, I think, a smaller story, but definitely something that I think we all need to know and be aware of so we can kind of maybe go out and get ourselves physically to watch the Rams practice ahead of their potentially Super Bowl winning season. You want to be the one to say, hey, I saw that team, that Super Bowl team back when they were practicing at LMU. Yes, that is correct. The Rams will be hosting training camp at Loyola Marymount University from July 24th to August 3rd. That's why in the intro video you're able to see both mascots from the Rams and Loyola Marymount kind of back to back. Obviously having that mutual relationship here in Los Angeles. This is where they'll be hosting their practices. This is where you fans, me, myself included, along with my co-host Joshua Feinhurst, hopefully could maybe get out to one or two of these practices in a couple of weeks. I think Joshua Feinhurst may be busy during this time, but either way, maybe one of us can try to make our way out there meet some of you guys in person if you guys are there, but also just check out the Rams practices, right? So this year's training camp will feature 8 practices that are free and open to the public, kicking off on Thursday, July 24th, and taking place on select days through Sunday, August 3rd. So it's obviously next month. We're talking about literally about a month away. So fans must register and have a valid ticket to attend training camp. Registration to claim a ticket will open at therams.com/training camp on Wednesday, June 25th. So that's tomorrow as the day I'm recording this. You guys may be watching this on the 25th. So 3 p.m. PST. If you guys are watching this before 3 p.m. on Wednesday, June 25th, make sure you guys get ready to get your tickets for the upcoming training camp. Rams season ticket members will receive early access to claim, so that's pretty cool. So if you guys are a ticket holder, you can obviously get the tickets as of tomorrow morning, but most of us are going to wait for that 3 p.m. mark to try to get some training camp tickets. Thursday through Sunday, August 3rd. Pretty cool. You can see the times and dates there. I'm definitely going to try my best to make my way out to one of these dates. So you guys let me know if you guys are heading out there. We can maybe meet up, like I said, and obviously take some good pictures and videos of the Rams practicing ahead of this upcoming season. Last little story I wanted to discuss. I did kind of intro it a little bit when we were discussing the intro of today's episode. Sorry, I'm just clicking around here. But Cameron DeSilva posted this tweet the other day, or today actually. And he's saying Cooper Kupp is back in LA with Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee, and Andrew Whitworth. Cool to see the gang back together again. We'll skip ahead to the full image of what we saw from Instagram, from Puka's Instagram. Nothing crazy here. I'm not trying to create this narrative that Cooper Kupp wants to stay in LA and wishes he never signed in Seattle. Nothing like that. But I did kind of want to just highlight it is very interesting. You see Cooper Kupp out there still with that relationship with the Los Angeles Rams. I think at this point it's very clear. Cooper Kupp is always going to be an LA Ram. He's always going to be part of the Ramily. And so cool to see that he's still together with guys like Andrew Whitworth, Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee, still going out there working out together, still have that great relationship off the field. And of course, they're now going to be battling it out a couple times a year for the next couple of seasons. So interesting to see how that pans out this upcoming year. But shout out to Cooper Kupp, shout out to Puka Nacua, still putting in work, coming back from Hawaii, being in LA, putting in work again with one another. Pretty cool to see them out there all together. Moving on, last but not least, my favorite part of the episode, Trivia of the Day, where I give a trivia question. You guys give your trivia guesses down below in the comment section, and whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we give you a shout out on the next episode. For those who missed last episode's Trivia of the Day, here is the question that we posed. Which NFL team's mascot was once considered too intimidating for children, prompting a redesign to make him friendlier? We did have some multiple choice options for the ones who were playing along guessing at home. It was it A, the Baltimore Ravens? Was it B, the Jacksonville Jaguars? Was it C, the Las Vegas Raiders? Or was it D, the Chicago Bears? A few of you guys did me the favor. Amazing job. I appreciate your support when you guys go ahead and comment your guesses for Trivia of the Day. It's always much appreciated. So appreciated that I want to shout you guys out, all who played along with Trivia of the Day last episode. So here were last episode's guesses. The Real J Will says, if it's not the Ravens, I'm Googling from now on. My percentage is so bad. The Real J Will, again, whether you're right or whether you're wrong, I appreciate you guys nonetheless. Do not Google. Play honestly, but I appreciate the fact that you've been getting quite a bit wrong lately because you're on fire for a long time. You're on a heater for a long time. So Brian B says Jacksonville, question mark. Leiter says, I'll guess Bears. Floyd says, I'll guess Bears. I gotta say, I think it was the Ravens mascot. This comes to us from Juan. And then Thomas says that I'm going to say Jaguars. We had 2 Jaguars guesses, 2 Bears guesses, and I think 2 Ravens guesses. So ultimately pretty even all around. Who was the correct answer? Little drum roll for that. The correct answer was B, Jacksonville Jaguars. The, I guess, mascot was named Jackson DeVille, which is actually a pretty cool mascot name if you ask me. I appreciate all of you guys for playing along. Special shout out to Brian B. Special shout out to Juan, Thomas, who both got this Trivia of the Day correct. But again, shout out to all you folks for playing along with today's Trivia of the Day. Don't Google it, don't cheat. I appreciate you guys when you get it wrong because it shows me you're not Googling, you're not cheating. Not to say anyone cheated, but just kind of proves to me that you didn't cheat when you do go ahead and guess and get it wrong. That's going to do it for this, not this episode, but for this episode Trivia of the Day, the last episode. If you guys missed that one, you want to play along with today's trivia and get a shout out just like those folks just did, play along with today's Trivia of the Day with this question here. Which Hall of Fame quarterback famously refused to wear gloves during games no matter the weather? Trivia of the day number 81. Which Hall of Fame quarterback famously refused to wear gloves during games no matter what the weather was? Multiple choice options here. Is it A, Brett Favre? Was it B, Tom Brady? Was it C, Joe Montana? Or was it D, John Elway? I think you can kind of imagine some of these players and when they played, and you can kind of actually imagine some of these guys wearing gloves. So just kind of throwing it out there. But which Hall of Fame quarterback famously refused to wear gloves during games no matter the weather? Was it A, Brett Favre, B, Tom Brady, C, Joe Montana, or D, John Elway? Give your guesses down below in the comment section. Again, whether you're right, whether you're wrong, we'll give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest, because I appreciate you guys always for playing along. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. Please do me a favor and remember to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. That's going to do it for me. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I am out.